now the shots that how were they playing? Were they playing
Okay.
cautious?
So
Safe?
we divide the court. I call it the Slim Jim court.
Okay.
And we basically take some throwdown lines and we
Yep.
divide the middle of the service box in half.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
basically a true third of the court.
Yep.
And they had to play everything up Slim Jim.
So up the middle.
So so any ball that landed on the outside did not count.
Yeah, it was out.
So they had to learn to play the cage ball.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, I took the orange line, the 60-foot baseline, and they were aiming deep.
So you had another deep line.
So they had so they were doing a couple things simultaneously because these players have been doing this for a while. Yep. They were training depth.
Yep.
They were training 1-2 reset, and they were trying to get 25 sets, and they were training the middle third of the court. So they were training how to get out of the way, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so they hit forehands and backhands.
Yep.
It was really interesting because when they got done with that, it took about, less than 5 minutes because they didn't miss.
Yeah.
They were physically exhausted. They were mentally like in the moment. They were in a competitive zone. We go right into first strike point game.
Yep.
It's like they're earning first strike points. They're missing some returns. I'm like, hey, look at that. You're missing returns. How does this happen? You just hit 88 balls in a row.
Did you start the game, though, with a drop feed or a serve?
Oh, no. We serve everything. We rarely do drop feeds.
Yeah, that's what we do. We always serve and return.
And so, like, we didn't even do, like, serve warm-up. The way I do serve warm-up is I say this. We're going to play first strike point games.
Yep.
You have to serve at 50% of your power.
Okay.
The first strike point game we play, because one player will serve a tire game to 7 points.
Yep.
And then you got to win by 2, and then 7 points for the other. Yep. Both servers have to serve 50% power. Yep. If they look like they're serving faster than 50%, they lose the point.
Okay.
Because you're warming up.
Yeah, and the thing is, so then you're working on the receiver's like second serve return.
Correct.
Yeah.
And because here's the thing, why waste a serve?
Oh, great.
Unless you are definitely working on some technical things that you need to, look, Pierce is 12. He hits between 300 and 600 serves every week.
There you go. Yeah.
And the reason why, and I talked to Dr. Mark Kovacs about this.
Yep.
Because he wrote an article on why kids get injured, shoulder injuries, when they're juniors. Yep. It's not because they're serving too much.
Serving too less.
Right. Because here's the problem. When you go to a tournament on the weekend and you play 2 days, if you play 4 matches, you're going to hit between 200 and 400 serves in 2 days.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because
if you only hit 50 serves a week,
if you're in,
and you go hit 200 to 400 on a weekend, you're stressing your shoulder out.
It's cooked.
And so it's very interesting. Pierce, he's never had issues. Like he'll get sore.
Yeah, but
that's
that's
why we do post rehab. Yeah. Like we do massages and I do the Theragun on him, right? Yeah, and we stretch.
Damn work.
And you have to do that even as a 12-year-old. Yeah. And he has days off.
Yeah, right? It's funny. I'm going to, just to digress a little bit, it's funny, like Jake did a tournament at Wodonga and it went long and he was sore and there's a massage guy down here that Gary, who works on Roger Federer.
Oh, awesome.
And you can talk.
And there's Pilates who works with Serena Williams.
And there's a Pilates person at Inverloch that did all the work with Serena Williams' ankle. So he's got 2 high class that he goes to and like he's doing clinical Pilates.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's helping balance and movement and
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And look, it's just interesting you say that because I remember when I was training kickboxing and we do all this training and at the end you would do the contact, right? And
Yep.
but then when you went and like I did some like point fighting and all this sort of stuff, but if you never train to go full in it, like you'd
Right.
see people just injuries here, there, and everywhere because they're not putting those muscles under that strength for that length of time.
Right. And
And,
it
and
was,
it's, yeah.
that's
And
exactly what Dr. Mark and I talked about is, players, if you're going to be playing tournaments, if you're going to be hitting between 200 and 400 serves on a weekend,
yeah,
you need to be hitting that many throughout a 5-day week
of course
before
you do.
you get there.
Yeah,
Right. And,
yeah.
and then doing your post rehab, doing your stretching,
Yeah.
right? Because if you do all these serves, but you don't do stretching or any, well, of course you're going to get injured. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
that's common sense.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because like when I was doing the kickboxing, I had a book by this Russian gymnast. I should show you the book. It's about isometric stretching, ballistic stretching, and it talks about the way the muscle fibers work and they stretch and it's like, I'm 48, I can still put my palms on the ground. And
Yep.
that was because of for stretching because of all those years of kickboxing and learning how to stretch right from the start.
Right.
And it's so important because, and I can even relate it back to AFL, like our football league here. They get them so big and muscly and they're doing soft tissues. They're doing hamstrings. They're doing this. They're doing that because they're not getting, now it's all gone full circle. Now it's all about clinical Pilates.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they're doing core stuff now instead of just pumping weights and trying to look like Arnie. They've changed it. You know what I mean? They've really honed in on what the body's saying, because flexibility is a huge key. Like Djokovic's flexibility is outrageous. You know what I mean?
It's why you rarely ever see Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, some of the top players. They're really taking they have a schedule and a balance between rest, recovery, right? Recovery, which is not what you do between shots.
No,
it's what you do between games and after the match. It's you reset between shots.
Yeah.
That's the little pet peeve I have. But stop saying recover. You're not recovering. You're resetting. Recover on the bench between games.
Yeah.
But,
that's when you.
But you got to have a system. Especially kids are really they are flexible.
Yep.
But even the kids need rest.
Oh, yeah.
And they need quality time away from the court where they can sort of clear their mind. I mean, Pierce is really into gaming and he loves to read. And, we do stuff like we throw Frisbee, we throw football, we play basketball. When we go to the beach, we surf waves.
Well, he surfs.
Yeah. And it's great because, like he's playing the piano a little bit now.
He's playing the piano a bit now too.
Great. Yeah, I've been playing. I started playing when I was 6. I was a concert pianist when I was 14.
Yeah, right.
Actually produced a couple of albums back in my day, back in the 2007. But yeah, I did. But I love obviously tennis is Pierce's sport and he does that. That's his primary sport. But we try to fill in the gaps with these other things because, and here's the other thing too, like the whole idea of transforming the practice court is really about allowing kids to experience the play of the game more in their practices. And we have to get, I think as coaches, we have to get our heads out of the clouds and think that every player in front of us is a potential pro player. Because we have to understand that a lot of that, a player becoming a pro is kind of up to the tennis gods. It takes a perfect storm. It takes finances, the right time. It's really timing too. Like you don't even have to have a ton of money. You just have to have maybe the timing of your contacts, which, worldwide. One of the things I've tried to do is put myself in a position as a coach and as Pierce's dad to sort of you reach out to people, reach out to coaches. I think we're going to go to Florida in the fall and maybe train down there with some contacts I have down there. And then if we start traveling more, because the U.S. is huge.
I know.
And it's nuts here to be able to do it. I think a lot of the most of the pros, obviously, you have to do a lot of sacrifice. And so we're going to have to travel. So, it's expensive too, even as
even just we've done tournaments here, they go for a week and you go up for accommodation. Like one of his coaches that comes out of another town, Traralgon, he takes a bus with the kids away. And we've done that a few times as well. And they all stay in the same sort of house. There you go. And
so to my point, when we're practicing with kids on the court, we got to understand that, look, this is they're learning life skills here that will help them through their life, no matter what they do, whether they play on the tennis court or not, and even if you become a pro, you're going to retire around average in the early 30s, right? 33, 34. We are going longer now because of all the things we just talked about with the stretching and the physical aspect. We're staying healthier longer. That's why you see Fed at 39 and Ryan and Djokovic and those guys in their 30s as well. And really the male pro is actually peaking in their career around 26, 27 now. When, 20 years ago, it was like they were peaking at 21. So, and they were retiring around 30.
And it's funny you say that because I look at the Australian Millman.
Millman is a perfect example.
He's an electrician. You know what I mean? In Queensland. And then suddenly he's going, I'm going to have a crack at this. And he beat Federer and, it's just, and we've met Sam Groth. You know what I mean? And,
Sam.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He was a really good footballer. He had St Kilda wanting him to play football. Big guy.
Big guy. Strong.
And,
so to me, like, it is a temptation to try to, make a name for yourself, and try to do that. But I guess the older I get, the more I realize it's really about developing the human being that's in front of me.
Yep.
And if things can line up and this player, because ultimately it's up to the player too. How high they can go. How much are they willing to suffer and struggle with the whole process?
Definitely.
Can they go to a tournament, lose in the first round or the second round, and take that as fuel to the fire? I just got done watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And one of the things I take away from that with Michael Jordan is
he lost a lot, didn't he?
He used the time. He used even winning when he won, but especially when he lost. When he lost something, a game, he found something to fuel that. Even to the point where sometimes he made up stuff in his own mind what they were saying about him. And he's like, oh, no, you didn't, right? And so it was the Jordan, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Serena Williams, like anybody that is like a household name that crosses.
Kelly Slater.
It crosses just in their genre, right? Like, you don't have to be a tennis player to know who Roger Federer is, right? No. Or Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Those types of champions are the ones that when everything is crap, and it's you're losing all the time. If you could find something within you to drive through that, and it's like that in coaching too, right? And as a coach, if you feel like you're not, training the top players, but but you're in that moment with that 7-year-old or 10-year-old or even 18-year-old that's just going to play D2 college or whatever.
Yeah, just have
If
a bit
you're
of fun.
in that moment and you're inspiring them and motivating them and teaching them this beautiful game, you've won. Like, you don't need your name in the stars.
Well, and
that's it.
yeah, and that's what